Hannah.
I'm Trevor.
And it's Disney Pinsomniac. It's our first full-length video in quite a few weeks. We posted for the Valentine's Day pin swap, but now we're back, baby.
We're back, and we are here with a little announcement.
Now this is not a little announcement, this is a big announcement.
Whoa!
And the reason it's so big is actually part of why we've been slowing down our content creation. We are planning a trip, and it is a big trip. And because of that, our finances are looking a little bit different this year than they have in years past. And we've had to slow the roller on some pin purchases in order for us to prepare for our very exciting trip to...
Drum roll, please. Tokyo Disney Sea.
I bet you weren't expecting that, were you? We are planning a trip and going to be going to Tokyo Disney Sea this year. It's incredible. We're very excited. We will be going in May. So let's talk about all of our trip details, what we have planned, and what that's kind of going to look like.
So we are going to be going to Disney Sea in sort of a late May, around, I think it was the 23rd or so.
Now, if any of you know anything about Disney, which if you're on this channel you probably know a little bit, you probably are familiar with the fact that Tokyo Disney is going to be having a new expansion to their Disney Sea parks. This expansion will open up at the first week of June. Now, if you know the calendar, you might realize that May and then June, we will be missing the opening of Disney Springs. This is kind of a disappointment, I'm not gonna lie to y'all.
Yeah, it's a bummer for sure.
However, we did not have our schedules lining up right for us to be able to go to Disney Springs after it opened. And because one of this fantastic duo happens to speak Japanese, we're pretty confident we'll be back in Japan before we know it.
Yeah, we'll be able to go someday to Disney Springs. This definitely will be on the list, but we haven't been at all. When I lived in Japan, I didn't get to go to Disneyland at all in either park in Tokyo, so it's going to be new for both of us because I've heard they're obviously very unique experiences in their own way compared to other parks. Now,
the Oriental Land Company, if for those of you who are not super into the lore, is the owner of the Disney Tokyo parks. So it's a little bit different of an experience than if you were going to go to a Disney park anywhere else in the world. This lets them have a lot of like freedom and creativity. I feel like honestly they manage the parks really well from everything that we've seen, and we're really, really excited to get to go to try a lot of the things that are unique to these parks. On top of this, I do have to say that unfortunately we are not going to be spending our entire trip in Japan at Disney. It's actually going to be a pretty small part of our trip. We will be there for a little over a week, and we are going to be visiting a bunch of small towns and areas that Trevor used to live in and kind of seeing all of these different parts of Japan that are important to him, and then seeing a little bit of Tokyo. So we had to make a really hard decision about whether or not we wanted to go to Disneyland or we wanted to go to Disney Tokyo Sea. If you know anything about Disney Sea, you know that it's kind of a one-in-a-million type experience. It's different from any of the Disney parks. It has really unique theming, and I've heard from everyone that I've talked to or seen online that it's probably one of the best parks they've ever been to, not just in Disney, but out of all themed parks. So because it's so unique, we knew that this was going to be on our list of things we wanted to do when we were in Japan. On top of that, Trevor was also told regularly when he was in Japan, oh, you've never been to Japan? You should go to Tokyo Disney Sea. It was something that a lot of the locals in Japan recommended that he do as a foreigner. They were like, oh, but you have to go to Disney Sea because it's special. And at the time, I think Trevor didn't really understand, just like anyone who's like maybe not super in on Disney, didn't really get why people were so excited about this, because in your head you're thinking, I've been to California, I've been to Florida, I've been to other Disney parks, right? Like, why is it so special to go here in Japan? I'm in Japan. Well, it turns out it's actually really special. And we're really excited to get to go. So, because Disney Sea is so unique and different from everything else in the Disney realm, we made the hard decision that we were going to only go to Disney Sea instead of going to Tokyo Disneyland. A lot of the rides are the same at Tokyo Disneyland, and we do want to go there, but even like in the design of Tokyo Disneyland, it was designed to really mimic the California park. And so for us, we figured if we're going to be spending time doing this really once in a lifetime trip, which again, it's probably not going to be once in a lifetime, but it is kind of a big deal for us. We wanted to do something that was going to be a little bit more unique to this experience. We are hardcore Disney fans. It was on the list. We're not going to not go to Disney when we're in Japan. Like, don't get me wrong. But if we're going to be able to spend only one day in the parks, we decided we were going to go to Disney Sea.
One question we have for all of you is, one, how many of you have been to Disney Sea, and what recommendations do you have either in preparation or while we're there? And what would you guys like to see from us as far as content when we're at Disney Sea?
Is there something that you've seen or heard a lot about that you really want to see us experience? And why or why not is it the small little mochi green men that everyone's so obsessed with?
I do want to try that.
We're really excited for the food. We're really excited for the rides. I have tried really hard to not watch any of the rides, the video ride-throughs.
We don't watch them.
We don't watch them because we want to be surprised. We want to be surprised. And we do know that it has a few more like big kid rides, which is kind of up my alley. Trevor's like a little bit less of a thrills person, but I'm definitely a thrill person. One thing we have heard is that the opportunity to ride rides is a lot lower at Disney in Tokyo because it's so busy. Again, we are kind of hoping that because we're going right before Disney Springs opens, that there will be a lower percentage of people at the parks. That's our one thing that might make up for the fact that we're not going to get to see all the beautiful new lands, is the fact that hopefully it won't be super crowded and we'll get a chance to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's kind of our solace we're taking, hopefully. Last question, and this is super important as well. If we were going to get a item or souvenir to bring back for a giveaway, which we've been planning for some time, what item would you like to see us bring back? There is a small asterisk on there, which is it has to be able to fit in a suitcase.
That's true, yeah.
And we have to be able to get it through customs. But let us know if there is something that you would like to see, and would you like to see other parts of our trip in Japan in general? We're gonna be there, we're gonna be in a bunch of places there's like not a lot of content for on the internet because they're very small towns, very rural. Most of the content in those areas is from Japanese tourists to other Japanese areas.
Yeah.
So if you wanna see some of our other rural Japan experience, please let us know as well in the comments below. It's a little different off the beaten path, but hey, if you want to watch it, sue us, we'll make it.
Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you very soon in the next one.
Thanks. Bye.